When most people hear the word offering, they think of money, specifically the money they're about to lose. They focus on the denomination of the bill and the groceries that currency would have covered before watching it disintegrate into a perceived loss. This anxiety stems from treating spiritual life like a mundane transaction. We often approach the altar like a vending machine, assuming that a specific financial input must trigger an immediate, equivalent earthly output. When that return doesn't arrive on a set schedule, the transactional giver feels cheated. They tithe out of a sense of heavy obligation, only to see a sudden, unexpected expense wipe out their remaining funds, leading them to conclude that the promises of multiplication are a lie. Others choose to hoard, keeping every cent out of a fear of scarcity. Yet that saved money often drains away regardless, consumed by a failing engine or a sudden family illness that leaves them stranded on a desolate highway, spending far more than the tithe they tried to protect. These frustrations occur because we are applying earthly mathematics to a system that prioritizes heart posture over currency. Success in this realm requires moving past the physical bill to understand the underlying mechanics of spiritual economics. The Bible, through the writings of Malachi and the patriarchs, describes an invisible two-part system designed to transform scarcity into multiplication. It operates less like a tax and more like a precision-engineered machine. The first mechanism engages the tide. Biblically, this is the baseline action that opens the windows of heaven. It functions as a valve for blessing, while establishing a spiritual shield that rebukes the devourer, protecting what you already possess. While the tithe opens the valve, the offering serves as the active seed pushed through it. This is the catalyst for exponential multiplication, the specific action that moves a household from a state of enough to a state of overflow. This distinction defines your financial trajectory. Tithing provides the linear baseline of protection and basic needs, but the offering creates the hockey stick curve of abundance. Multiplication is triggered when the offering exceeds the tithe, as this is the portion God promises to multiply. Mapping out these mechanics shifts the perspective on giving. It moves the act beyond a rigid religious requirement and turns it into a strategic, deliberate engine for generating resources. Even a perfectly designed engine requires the correct fuel to turn over. If the internal motive, the heart condition, is corrupted, the entire system rejects the input. This is why the numerical value of a bill is irrelevant to the outcome. Giving to compete with a neighbor, giving to boast, or giving from pressure yields bad fruit that never reaches the stage of harvest. The system requires a specific heart posture, a cheerful, grateful spirit that views the offering as a sacrifice of praise. It means choosing the best of what you have, rather than whatever is left over. Once the seed is planted, it enters a phase of active maintenance. Much like a physical crop, a spiritual harvest must be defended against plagues, what the book of Malachi specifically refers to as the devourer that ruins the fruit of the ground. A believer maintains this defense through sustained faith. It involves refusing to complain when finances are tested and maintaining a spirit of gratitude long after the initial seed has been sown. Mechanical compliance, simply moving money from a wallet to a basket, fails if the internal operating conditions are ignored. A pure heart and active faith are the components that actually secure and protect the harvest. When this system is operated with the correct heart posture, the afterstate is a total reversal of scarcity. Financial anxiety is replaced by a consistent, unexplained overflow. This manifests in practical, everyday miracles. Household items seem to last longer. Families experience sustained health, and despite the usual expenses of life, a surplus remains at the end of every month. However, the purpose of this overflow is often misunderstood. God does not generate a surplus so that believers can hoard wealth or focus exclusively on personal luxury. The seed is multiplied specifically to provide the resources needed for good deeds. The goal is to reach a state of abundance where you have the capacity to bless others, because a person cannot bless from a position of lack. This requires a shift in how you view your bank account. Instead of seeing it as a static, diminishing pool of resources to be guarded, you can begin treating it as a storehouse of seeds waiting to be planted. Generosity executed joyfully secures God's approval and activates the protection of the tithe. It creates a cycle of multiplication that provides for your needs while transforming financial anxiety into a powerful tool for blessing the world.